everybody in the Bush administration and the Obama administration have known it. U.S. manufacturers, we know, can compete with anyone. When China manipulates its currency, that's not competing, that's cheating. It's clear that China's currency manipulation creates a substantial cost advantage for Chinese manufacturers over American manufacturers. Fred Bergston of the Peterson Institute, whom he and I don't often always agree on trade issues, he said the estimated 40% cost advantage is conservative because it doesn't factor in China's rising productivity. While the administration recognizes the threat of currency manipulation, it doesn't have all the tools necessary to stop it. That's why this bill is essential. It gives the administration a critical tool to stand up for workers and manufacturers in our country by combating manipulation of currency. Under existing law, an Ohio paper manufacturer or aluminum manufacturer, steel manufacturer can come to the Commerce Department with a petition to seek relief from unfair subsidized imports or below market dumping. But when it comes to currency manipulation, these manufacturers have no avenue for relief because currency manipulation is not considered a subsidy under the law.
In the last decade, 5 million manufacturing jobs have left America, and of those jobs, 1.6 million went to China. Since joining the World Trade Organization, China has taken 2.4 million jobs from the United States. And now, for the first time in a century, the United States is no longer the world's leading manufacturer. It is now China. A decade ago, China and the United States produced roughly equal amounts of steel. Today, China is making 7 times as much steel as the United States. Not because they make it better, but it's because they sell it cheaper. Now, there are some internal reasons for why China is surpassing us. Some internal issues in this country, environmental laws, regulations, wages, which may be different. But those costs pale in comparison to China's policies that actively undermine free and fair trade. China has been exploiting a loophole big enough to sail a freight cargo ship through, and it is done every day.
There is no multilateral structure today to handle this major issue. And now other countries are chiming in, Brazil included, but there is no multilateral structure. Bilateral hasn't worked, and our country has not named China under present law. So what we're doing is to add weapons help to this Treasury Department and our government to take action. So far, China has moved 4% at best, when the estimate is that this currency manipulation is somewhere between 20 and 30 or 35%.
Our goods are at a disadvantage in China and allows the Chinese goods to undercut us in the United States. I come from Seattle, so I see the ships coming in, bringing the goods, and they're shipped all over this country, and it is clear that the flow has not stopped. Now, legislation isn't about slapping China on the wrist. It's not a punitive measure. It simply offsets the trade advantages that China reaps from its current policy. Now, let's be clear. We're introducing this legislation because U.S. companies have been materially injured by China's currency policy. It isn't as though we imagined this or we think it might be there. It is clear it is happening today, and it really is time to move to a level playing field. We in the Congress helped China accede to the World Trade Organization, thinking that if we brought them inside the World Trade Organization, they would then play inside the rules. That has not happened. It's time for us to pass this law.
Actually, earlier in the week, I had a chance to meet with Donald Trump, and we talked about China currency manipulation, and he, too, is very upset at the fact that China is manipulating their currency, and he said that he was actually doing some development, and he'd like to buy glass here, windows in the United States, but the fact that China has been able to produce it much cheaper because of currency manipulation, that's where they go because it makes economic sense to them. We need a fair balance. And that's why I'm co-sponsoring this legislation. I would encourage my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, both chambers, to support it.